Nope.
Farmers out there maybe doing some early planting in the southern plains anyway. Chicago, we've got the Cubs that are playing home this afternoon. I'm glad that it's earlier, not later, because our storms are going to wait for later to really get going here. Yesterday, we're a little bit above average. Today, we're going to be warm, a touch on the muggy side, as Jim just talked about. That warm front is basically moving through this morning. Here come those bigger cells as we head towards 8 o'clock. So sundown, you got the storms coming down as well. There could be some huge hail with these, also some gusty winds that could cause some delays at both O'Hare and Midway. So definitely just know that there will be some really bad weather coming through late tonight. For St. Louis, where we hit a high yesterday of 80 degrees, average is 69. So the atmosphere trying to right itself, if you will. We saw 0.05 of an inch of rain yesterday. We've got a lot more to come for today. And we already have a surplus here in St. Louis of over 1.5 inches. So it's not like we need this rain. And this rain is going to come with very gusty winds and possibly some hail. You've got the thunder, the lightning, all being very annoying as we go through overnight tonight into your Saturday. Into southern Missouri now through the Ozarks, we see some heavy rain and storms building up here as well. For this evening, there will be some of those individual cells that we'll have to monitor here as they move near Joplin, Springfield, right along the I-44 corridor. We see another round coming through at 2 a.m. This is going to bring more widespread heavy rain as well. And unfortunately, that flood threat as we see more heavy rain developing over this holiday weekend. So there's your Saturday. A lot of yellow on the map. That's widespread moderate rain. For Fort Smith and Fayetteville, Arkansas, we also see these storms moving through later on tonight as the sun is setting. Between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, we have another round that comes through during the overnight hours into early Saturday, right along I-40. So definitely have a way to get those warnings and stay off the roads, especially if they flood. Remember, we still have a lot of rivers that are very high, especially in the eastern side of Arkansas. And for Oklahoma City, we also see some storms coming our way as we head towards later on this evening. So I think for the most part, Steph, we're good today if we're still trying to buy the Easter groceries, the candy, if you will. But really tonight into tomorrow is where we see some of these bigger storms developing also down into Texas, where that hail could be rather huge.
Ooh, I just saw a little blip there, and I was like, you don't think about in the moment. It's just like, okay, try to protect my house. Now you have all this water that's going to be in the carpets. You have to dry all that up and everything. So, whew. That was a lot. That was a lot. That was impressive in the completely wrong way that you want something to be impressive, right? There is the threat for tomorrow. Again, hail. Again, the threat of a tornado. Hail also an issue as we head into our Sunday here and everything tries to shift east. We've got moisture that's going to be coming up from the Gulf tomorrow. That's going to ram into not only jet winds, but also an upper level low that is going to cause severe weather for us here into Texas, Oklahoma. 2-inch or greater hail threat for us into Texas. Baseball size hail is, oh man, what, 4 inches off top of my head? Am I remembering that wrong? 2.7.
Baseball or softball?
Baseball.
2.75.
2.75. Where did I get 4 from? What was I thinking about 4?
Softball, probably.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Getting my sports mixed up there for a second. Right. How dare I get my sports mixed up on a Friday, too? Here's a look at hail, 2 inches, about lime size. That's going to do damage. Not necessarily going to shove it through your window, but it is going to do some damage. It's been a long week, people, and it's going to continue to be a long week when it comes to the severe weather and the rain. Sometimes you get that exhaustion. You get that mental exhaustion. You're dealing with other things in life. This is the last thing that you need to happen. I feel you. It is tough. And the fact that it's not moving and we're going to see several rounds, and notice how the rain goes over the same areas, that's going to give us flooding. There is strong winds. There are some strong winds in that too. You don't need a tornado in order to get damage. We will see our system try to shoot east on Sunday with that southerly flow coming up. St. Louis down into Shreveport. There's the possibility of severe weather. All of this is going to be making its way into eastern Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and then it's going to be heading northbound as well. So a lot of these same areas that, by the way, Jim, are recovering from severe weather earlier in the year or flooding from earlier in the year.
Right. Earlier this month.
Early this month, that too, yes.
We had an early April. So, you know, what we're going to do is kind of take a look.
Not the snow coming down, but the cherry blossom petals coming down in some areas. Time now for a look at your allergy tracker. And the pollen's running high, especially where things have already bloomed and blossomed across the south and now moving up toward the Ohio Valley. So this is where we're starting to see more of the trees breaking out off Kansas City, Joplin, on over towards Lexington, Kentucky. The grass pollen higher right down toward the I-20 corridor, south of there to I-10. not quite growing yet across the Great Lakes in the Northeast, still too cold. But, typically you have the higher pollen count. We've got the dry, windy conditions. We've seen record amounts of pollen in some areas of the South, like Atlanta. And in the springtime, it's the trees and grass that may have you grab one being impacted. Then we see that stripe of red from the Great Lakes all the way down to Texas. So this is where we have that potential for some dangerous storms on this Good Friday. So if you are traveling out to church services, just know that the hail, the wind threat will be increasing, especially as we head toward the evening time frame. The purple indicating 1-inch hail, but right in this hatched area, that hail could get even larger in portions of Texas and Oklahoma. So remember, golf balls 1.75, 2 inches bigger than that. Can't rule out the tornado threat either. Even with a Torcon 3 yesterday, we did have 15 tornado reports. So you can see numbers on the scale here, 2s and 3s, but that means, tornado watches could be issued. Isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out as we see that change of wind with height, the instability, the energy building up as we get that daytime heating. And that's going to allow for these thunderstorms to really grow here, especially Missouri down to Oklahoma into Texas as we head toward the overnight time frame. So again, have those ways to get those warnings. It's a holiday weekend, Jim. A lot of people might be traveling, so just know that there will be some issues out there.
Yeah, and weather might not be top of mind, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're thinking about Easter candy, finding the baskets for your kids, that kind of stuff.
All that, getting to grandma's
Time it reaches you, especially with the movement so very quickly. Here's a look at the hail that we've seen already, the hail reports. That's the tennis ball size hail in Belmont. That's in Lafayette County. You've got New Glarus, 1.5 inch. That's about $half size hail. Prairie du Sac, 1.25. And you've got Platteville also seeing that very large hail. That's baseball size hail, 2.75. So hopefully the cars are put away. If you're in Milwaukee, we do have this line of storms headed in your direction with a severe watch in place until 11 o'clock. And we will likely see additional watch boxes being issued on this Good Friday, weather not so good, stretching from the Great Lakes all the way down to Texas. That's a huge area in the red. And for a lot of you, it's not going to be until later on this afternoon and tonight. Even though we're getting started early in southern Wisconsin, we will see the front moving through this region as well. So Torcons 2 and 3. Yesterday was a Torcon 3, and we did see more than a dozen tornado reports. So with the 3, Oklahoma, Texas, we could see some isolated tornadoes erupting out here. Let's take a look at Springfield, right along I-44. We see some big storms developing by later on this evening, and you're not done because we do see another round coming through overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. And oh, by the way, it continues to rain very hard over this area as we head throughout our Saturdays. So, Steph, we've also got that flood threat to talk about.
That we do. And you are going to start today with clouds over St. Louis. High will be in the 80s, well above average. And the heat will help fuel some of the showers and storms on the way tonight. That, of course, is going to bump up our flood threat in this region, not just in St. Louis. But St. Louis is under a flood watch beginning tonight at 7 through Easter Sunday. So for the next couple of days, really tonight, all day Saturday into Sunday. Look at St. Louis with the rain. We don't need the rain. We're nearly 3 inches above average for the month. And it's not just St. Louis. It's a lot of areas that have seen heavy rain over the last couple of months. St. Louis could pick up another 2 to 3 inches here. And as I mentioned, St. Louis is really kind of on the periphery of where we've seen the very heavy rain to start off the month of April. Little Rock, Memphis, Paducah, Kentucky, still seeing flooding in some places. And by the way, that flooding is going to go up as we go down the Mississippi into next week. The one thing we don't have to worry about is drought. We've had so much rain that it essentially has wiped that out. The thing we do have to worry about, though, are those river gauges. And notice we have several in moderate to major, and that water is going to continue to travel down. And that means as you hit Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, we're actually going to start to see these gauges come up as we head into next week. There's your rainfall. This is not going to necessarily exacerbate the situation here with the river gauges, but this will drain eventually into the Mississippi. But I just worry about all the people that have had so much rain and severe weather in this area and are still cleaning up. There are your flood watches. Oklahoma up into St. Louis. Tomorrow is our highest threat for flooding as it's really an all-day event for us. Notice this evening we have some of those showers coming into the plains, but Saturday morning we start off St. Louis down to Dallas in this same vicinity all the way until 7 a.m. on Sunday. So it's almost 24 hours straight for some of us with that rain. It finally starts to move a little bit east, and it'll finally get more progressive as we head into our Monday and make its way deeper into the southeast. But in its wake, we are definitely going to see some flooding.